Hey, I'm Ruji, and today we're joined with...
Alla.
And I'm Ruji. Welcome to the Vegan Ambition podcast number 7. Today's main question is, what is your take on feeding non-vegan animals vegan, or vice versa, being a vegan and feeding them meat? But before we start, I'd like to thank today's sponsors. I'd like to thank quinoa, jalapeno, and of course, pineapple. This podcast is a tool to help vegans, vegetarians, and anyone else who is interested in the vegan lifestyle. On this podcast, we'll have a different guest every week, and we're going to discuss a topic on veganism. We will debate different viewpoints, and the Vegan Ambition is a no-pressure zone and a no-hostility zone. So we're not trying to pressure our guests here, but are simply here to discuss different viewpoints. I hope you'll join us on this journey, and education is our biggest goal here. If you don't know me already, I'm Ruji, and I've been vegan for over a year now. I'm not a perfect vegan, but I'm trying to become one. Hopefully you can join me on this journey of veganism and learn something new in the process. This is Ella. You're a non-vegan, and you've had vegan food in the past, is that right?
Yes, I have.
Okay, great.
Should I elaborate?
Yeah, I'd love for you to elaborate.
Yeah, actually my first experiences with vegan food have been in Toronto. Your previous guest, Dan, introduced me to this pizza place, which is super, super delicious. They have all these kinds of slices of pizza that mock, non-vegan food. So there's like ones with nachos and Big Macs and stuff like that. And yeah, that was probably one of my first experiences with vegan food, and it's delicious.
That was your first experience, like, overall, like, that was explicitly vegan food. Obviously, you've had vegetables before.
Yeah. I wouldn't quote me on that. I have a really poor memory. I definitely consider myself to be someone who would get it and not really think much about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I probably have had it before, but not to the extent that I remember.
Now, I'm just curious, when you go to, like, a restaurant, what do you kind of, like, typically get? Like, if it has a vegan option, for example, would you consider getting that, or would you usually consider just a normal option?
When I go out to eat, it is typically for something that I can't make at home.
Okay.
It depends where I go, first of all. Now that the kind of prices everywhere have almost evened out, I feel, then there's not much of a gap between, people would always say that what's considered healthier, and especially vegan food as well, is a little bit pricier. But just now with the prices going up, I find that they've evened out a little bit. So I don't really distinguish between the two and being like, oh, well, that's more expensive, that's this and that.
So when you go out, you're more price conscious versus, like, what it is per se?
I would say so, but now I assume if I'm going to go out, I'm going to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when I go out, I would probably buy something that I can't make at home, which is usually something like a really good burger or really good, like, saucy wings.
Okay. That's
Unfortunately,
okay.
I'm sorry. Probably something along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious now, have you ever tried to cook anything, like, specifically vegan at home?
No, never.
No, you never tried it?
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Actually,
Yeah.
the previous question, if I've ever had vegan food before, there was a Copper Branch in Waterloo.
Okay,
that
yeah,
I
I've heard
started
of
going
them.
to all the time, yeah. They had a really good, I think it was black bean burgers.
Mm-hmm.
So I opted to go there a few times just because I felt better getting it. It was, like, so good. So good.
I'm really happy to hear that, because that's actually like a viewpoint from the health conscious vegans, is that you just feel so much better after eating vegan food. I mean, I always feel pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Exactly, and I feel better, like, consuming it too.
So would you say that since kind of, like, eating vegan food, I mean, you said you kind of started mostly, like, last semester, right? So would you say you've actually, like, started to, like, enjoy eating it more, or you kind of I like, before that you never really had it? Did you have, like, a viewpoint whereas it was like you were like, oh, I don't really want to try that, it sounds gross, or, like, what was kind of or did you never think about it?
I think I'm a person who would have tried it regardless, just so I can make my own opinion about it.
Okay.
Especially because, I don't know, all the stuff that goes into it sounds okay to me. I'm not particularly a picky eater. So for me, it was never something that was kind of like a turnoff. I always wanted to try it and thought that I might as well.
But you just didn't for a long time, I guess, or that you could remember.
Yeah, until like veganism really came into like almost the mainstream, I want to say, like where it's like super popular now and there's a bunch of places where it's available. I wasn't too aware about what exactly it entailed, and there weren't a lot of vegan options on the places that I ate, especially like me being like a server. I would just order food from the restaurant that I worked at. And then up until recently, it wasn't that people started to introduce vegan options more spread out.
On your like day-to-day kind of, what would you say, like how many times a day would you say you consume meat or
consume meat? I am trying to cut back because I know just who I am. I don't think I'm at the stage where I would be able to fully cut it out, but I'm trying to cut it down. So whereas I would, you know, sometimes like fry bacon in the morning and then go and have a fully meat dish, like I don't know, just like, you know, where the main part was meat, then sometimes I opt to do something vegetarian.
And then now I'm curious because I didn't know this. Why? Yeah, why? Like why are you trying to cut down? I mean, I'm really happy that you are, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, why are you trying to cut down on it?
I watched some documentaries about the production and
like on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay.
And also just like I don't find it like when I'll go to a restaurant, for example, and I'll read like, I love wings. I'm a really big fan of wings, but now I'll have them like maybe like once every 2-3 months because all the restaurants are always like jumbo blah blah, and I just like keep thinking about like how induced they are by like hormones and all that like bad stuff, and I don't really feel like feeding myself that. I'm kind of trying to like watch what goes into me a little bit more.
Okay.
But then it does really come down to, you know, supply and demand. I guess if everyone does a little bit of work and cutting down their things, and the demand goes down, then hopefully the supply would too, which in turn will save the world a little bit because, you know, global warming and such.
Hopefully. Now you touched on a lot of different viewpoints in that. So one of the viewpoints you touched on was that you don't want to put like modified kind of like meat inside of you, right? Then you touched on, and before that you kind of touched on the fact that these animals are like, you know, very hormonally modified. And then you touched on the fact that it's bad for the environment. So what do you know about kind of those three things? Like, can you like guide me through what you know about them?
I know that in order, I don't remember the exact statistics, but I remember that in the production of meat, a lot of water is used and a lot of I don't know, fuels or like just like bad things are emitted into. Do
you want me to tell you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I really quickly I can say, like the production of beef is the largest producer of methane.
Methane, that's what it is.
Yeah. So when typically when cows eat, especially when they eat, I think it's especially when they eat like soy and corn, which is their main, and wheat I think is their main things instead of grass. They produce a lot of methane when they chew. That goes up into the atmosphere. Now that's not counting any of the stuff that it takes for transportation. So like transportation of meat's a huge deal because the way that I always think about meat and the consumption of meat is you're taking something that you could eat, like soy or corn, and you're feeding it to an animal to then like reduce, and then you're and then you're using that to feed our population. Yeah. Which doesn't make sense to me personally anymore. Like I understand how it would have as a kid, but like right now I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So keep going. What else do you know? I'm just curious.
What were the other 2 points? Oh, right. And then the maltreatment of the animals. In terms of like, I know with chickens, like they just like, first of all, like super induced with like everything to the point where like I know a lot of them can't walk. They're stuck into crates. They're just like treated like so horribly. Same thing with all of them, honestly. Like if you think about it, they're all just like treated as if they were like a commodity, which I guess like that's what people think of as the end result.
It generally depends on the farm. But yeah, 99% of them are all treated very poorly.
Yeah.
There's very few farms where they're treated well, and even if they are, one thing that's kind of like astounding to a lot of people is that a cow's lifespan is 40 years.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
And
because they try to get them as big as they can.
They get them as big as they can in 2 years. So they, yeah.
So a cow's normal lifespan is 40 years, but
Yeah,
they
about
try
that.
to get them to the point of being of like
So cows grow quick, right?
Yeah.
And I mean that's, I don't know why that is, but it's probably because we like, made them like that.
Mm-hmm.
But generally a cow that's produced for meat consumption,
Mm-hmm.
Their lifespan is typically about 2 years. And that's the same with every other animal that's produced for consumption. I mean, not every animal is 40 years, but it's like 90% of their lifespan is gone.
It's like a fraction, yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, like one of the sanctuaries that I like to go to, one of the ones that was a sponsor here, they used to be like a meat producing farm, and then one day the farmer was out working with one of the baby cows that he just like was really helping because she needed a lot of help, and he realized that he would have to send this cow out to slaughter in like 2 years, and he was like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, I love this cow too much.
I know.
And yeah.
I always think, I was like, I do like eating meat. I wish there was a way that they could just like live their full life and then like just like pass naturally but still be like good for consumption at the end game, but I know it just like doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, so there's a couple issues, right, that come up with that idea. The first issue is that right now the amount of resources that we use to feed these animals, it's not sustainable at the point that we're at now, but it's extremely not sustainable if we let them live for 40 years, right? So if we have 1 billion cows in our world living for 40 years, it's like,
but at that point it's different because there's like they like inseminate the cows artificially, right? Or like there's like a whole kind of process that goes into reproducing them.
Yep.
Right? Like it wouldn't, if they were just left naturally, then it'd be completely different, but obviously
you wouldn't have like, for example, right, in that kind of a world, a burger would cost, like 100, 200 times what it does today.
For sure.
Which, I don't mind seeing a world like that, like obviously.
Yeah.
But one thing that's interesting is that like a lot of the vegans I know, and me included, is that like I don't crave meat anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The first year that I went pescatarian, I was kind of like, man, I could really go for some chicken right now. And then after that, I was kind of like, it's fine. I have so many alternatives. I eat so much yummy food now that it doesn't even matter anymore.
I wonder though, is that like in any part due to like your body's like how it functions just at its very base, that like it has that like thing, or is it entirely mental?
I'm not sure. What I could say to that is that for me, I grew up like eating chicken like a lot. I loved it, and I found it hard to give up chicken, right? But after a bit of time, and after learning especially about the animals, and what they go through, I realized that for me it's like impossible to look back.
Yeah.
Like, when I go to the grocery store, like, it's like I visualize things and I'm like, I can't, like.
Yeah. But I must say, I feel like for a lot of people, although that's like a huge factor of it, I know for a lot of people, I almost think it's like it would be like a crush of character to go back. It's like, to go, let's say 2 years without eating meat and then, let it slip once and go have a burger or something. It's like, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't be able to deal with that, of not being able to kind of continue on their goal or their mission.
It depends on the viewpoint of the person. So if the person is going at it from a viewpoint of the environment or of health for themselves, it's a lot easier to slip up.
Yeah.
And some vegans call, like, if you're not in it for the animals, some vegans also call those people plant-based.
Right.
Versus vegan, because vegan is the idea that we are trying to help the animals, trying to make sure that these animals don't die in the numbers that they're dying in.
Right.
So it all depends on the viewpoint that you have going in. Yes, if you view it from the environment, like if I was solely on the environment or solely on myself today, it would be a lot easier to go back.
Yeah.
I forced myself. It's okay. I forced myself for the first year, to make sure that I didn't eat meat, because I knew that if I did go back, I would not be able to stop.
Yeah. I would say that I totally agree with that, and that the root cause is plays a huge role, but I do also think it's just how much a person is personally devoted, and how much because I don't know, because I can't speak for anyone else, but I almost feel like if it were me and I gave up meat and I didn't eat it for 2 years and then I slipped up and did consume it, then I would almost feel like a defeat or some kind of betrayal to myself that I couldn't continue it.
Yeah. There are, yeah, of course. Yeah. Totally. I think that one thing that is important is that you make when vegans are transitioning and when they're moving and when they're mistakes will happen, and those are not usually your fault. I've made mistakes and those are not my fault, because of language barriers, for example, but it was still kind of I still felt bad.
Yeah.
I was I did that not on purpose, but I accidentally ate that little bit of butter one time. Yeah. It happens.
I can just see myself being it's like when you're in a relationship and then you take a break for 2 weeks and then you finish a year off and you're but we haven't technically been together for a year. I feel that's the way I would look at it, and that's also something that I would really beat myself up over, but that could just be me.
Alla, did you know that quinoa is the only vegetable that provides all of the essential amino acids and vitamins? It's gluten-free, it is highly nutritious, and it even surpasses cereals such as wheat, corn, rice, and oats in nutritional quality. Quinoa is a fantastically tasty and healthy food, and it's great for everyone. So head on down to your local hipster salad bar and scoop up some quinoa today. Thanks, quinoa, for sponsoring today's episode. Now I'd like to get on today's question, and that is, what's your take on feeding a non-vegan animal vegan, like a dog or a cat, or vice versa, being a vegan and feeding them meat?
That's really difficult because obviously it's not a human where they can voice their views and their just their views on the topic and what they believe in or what they would prefer to do. But at that point, when you are taking care of an animal and it's your responsibility, I feel as long as the animal is taken care of well and receiving everything that they need to, not lacking anything fundamental, then it's in the decision of the caretaker. I can't imagine there to be a circumstance for a vegan to feed their animal non-vegan unless it was easier, cheaper, or it was just something that was unavailable, true, and also something that that animal needed. Actually, unavailable is a really great point, because I don't even know if something like that exists for animals. But I would say that it totally is in the decision of the caretaker as to what they feed their animals.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm actually really similarly. I don't really know my answer quite to this because I don't own an animal right now.
Yeah, true. Me neither.
But it's hard. I also have done my research, but I think what I would say is that I agree to the sense that if there are options that are available that don't deprive the animal, that it is okay.
Yeah.
The animal is not consenting, like your dog or your cat. I don't know, actually. I think cats might be only carnivores, so that might be a little different. But dogs are omnivores, I believe.
Yeah.
So, if the animal is consenting to it,
Yeah.
then...
That's another thing, because I feel like it'd be really difficult depending on when that initiation starts. So let's say since the beginning, the animal is fed vegan, then that would, I assume, be a lot easier than, introducing it 5 years into their life. But then again, it could be a transition, just like it would be for a human, where it's not, no more meat for you, here's this for the rest of your life. But
Right.
it's like, start introducing it into your diet once a day, once a week, whatever, and then kind of just making it more and more frequent.
Yeah, I think, if I'm planning on getting a dog in a year or so, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in that time, because I'm gonna, first of all, I'm gonna be adopting one. So
right, I was gonna ask if you're gonna be adopting.
Yeah, 100%. That's like, it's like a vegan guidebook, like you have to.
Yeah.
Which
True.
is a whole different argument. Not really. Most vegans agree, but
Yeah.
but I've heard that it's actually really hard to get like puppy food that's vegan, but like adult food is not as hard, but it's probably way more expensive. So it's kind of like...
Honestly, I don't even know what the difference is between puppy food and dog food. I used to have a dog, and we fed it human food for its entire life, and we were always advised against it. Yeah. But he ended up living 15 years, and at the end it wasn't from the diet that we had to put him down. But
I mean, 15 years is pretty much... That's pretty much the
right?
end. Yeah,
Yeah.
You can't go much harder than that.
I know.
I was thinking about this also in the context of like reptiles. Like, what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Because I guess reptiles, they eat insects, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or some of them eat
Like
rats.
crickets
Like
and stuff.
snakes eat rats.
Yes, they do. I don't know.
I don't know
Because-
if they do either.
And then with that kind of stuff too, it's like, you don't, like, are there places to get like a baby snake that hasn't been introduced to, like, I don't know. It's very weird. And also, at which point does it, cross over to those animals are like more like by nature predators?
I think
in the
those, like, snakes for sure are.
yeah
100%.
they like would go get their own food if they weren't in a
And so at that
glass
point,
box.
then you have to like consider whether, like I think with animals that are carnivores, you kind of have to.
yeah.
It's, I don't know. I actually don't know. I'd love to hear. I should ask this question to a vegan next time too and see what they say.
Could you imagine
There's
though
more.
if there was something that was like duplicated to like the smell and the kind of like how it looks and stuff, but it wasn't actually meat,
Like
but
Impossible Burgers?
yeah.
Right?
Right?
Or
Could you
Beyond
imagine?
Burgers?
Except like in like rat
Rat
form. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be interesting. I'd like to see that in the
Yeah.
future.
But then again, animals like that, whose like one of their sole purposes in life is to survive and to.
But the animal's not hunting anyway already.
Yes, true.
Like, you're literally, giving them a frozen rat.
Yeah. Oh God, I would not want to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna get a snake before I went vegan. I was thinking about it. Well, like a bit before, but I was thinking about it a lot.
Yeah. I actually
I wonder
remember
what I would do now.
watching or being like on an Instagram of a girl who had snakes, and people, sometimes she would post videos of her feeding rats, and people would be like, oh my God, like that's so horrible, blah blah. And she was like, it's what I have to do, like this is what their diet is.
Yeah.
This is what I committed to. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And again, at that point I feel like it would be so expensive to find alternatives, especially because there's not like a super huge market for it. It's not
Yeah.
like suddenly there'd be like someone would probably have like a monopoly in the market and then decide to.
Yeah, it'd be. I wonder if it's even vegan to adopt a snake, in that sense. Like, are you kind of like going against vegan ideologies if you adopt an animal that you cannot feed?
Yeah.
That is vegan. Interesting. I don't know.
And then also like, are you kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, this whole question section is about kind of letting people know who are trying to
Pondering.
convert that there is no right answer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is like a decision for each individual to make, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that will influence your decisions online and stuff.
For sure, yeah.
You know, but I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I think when I get a dog, I'll probably try to feed it vegan as long as it's okay.
Yes.
And as long as it doesn't cost me out of my ass.
Yeah.
Because if I lose money, that like a lot of money, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't afford to keep the dog. So what's, you know?
Yeah.
Then it's like, then I have to like pick the worst of the best.
But then at that point, it's like, is it selfish of you to get the dog if you can't raise it
Vegan.
within your ideology? Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some serious cost calculating.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, a dog, I think I looked it up, like, a dog every year is, like, $1,000 or $2,000, no, it's $3,000, I think.
And that's probably assuming that it's, like, healthy.
That's assuming it's healthy and not vegan.
Yes, and
So what is vegan food? Maybe it costs more. But it probably, I mean, I can't imagine it costs more, but if it's, like, the same as vegan food in restaurants, it'll be, like, you know, a bit more just because of the demand.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where to find it. I'm still trying to find vegan deodorant. That doesn't cost $30 for a bottle.
I know, exactly.
It's crazy.
But I wonder also if I really don't know much. I was younger when I had my dog. My dog was older than me. When I was born, he was already born. His birthday was in March and I was in August. So we were growing up together, but I don't particularly remember paying a lot of attention to why it wasn't advised for him to eat human food. I'm sure there's a legitimate reason. I'm sure he wasn't actually supposed to. But I wonder if in that case it's like, would that be also possible that you could prepare something and then lower the cost? But I had no idea.
That's interesting. That's something to look into for sure. I don't think that... I mean, it's super not advised. I would say it's probably not advised because they probably need higher protein levels and higher nutrient levels than we do.
Yeah.
And so feeding them the food that we eat is probably... They probably won't be getting enough of that stuff, but...
Yeah, I mean, that
hard to
alone makes
say.
sense, but I know squat about the topic, so...
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so we're kind of torn. We don't know.
Yeah.
Either of us know.
To be continued.
Yeah, maybe
To
it'll be a question
determined.
on a future episode with a different vegan.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. So now we're going to... oh, wait. What am I saying? What am I doing? Oh, Alla, I have another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like spicy food?
Oh my god, I love spicy food.
Do you like to feel the burn?
Oh god, yes.
Do you want to feel the Scoville level of between 3,500 and 8,000? Well, I've got the proper pepper for you. The jalapeno. Jalapenos are just right for you, for your guacamole, your subs, and your time when you want to feel the burn. So try some jalapeno today. Thanks, Jalapeno, for sponsoring today's episode. Now comes maybe the most interesting part of the day. It's time for the taste test. We're going to be trying Joseph's Chocolate Nutless Clusters. They are made with brown rice. Interesting. Dates, chocolate, coconut. They're whole grain. They're vegan. They're non-GMO. And they're nut-free.
I hate dates.
Oh, damn. I did not know that.
I totally don't.
It would have been worse if you said I'm allergic to dates. That would have been...
That is true.
I should ask that in my future questionnaire
Live and
to
you'll
people.
learn.
Yeah, good to learn. Good to know. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not happening. All right, reach in, grab a cluster.
I like that they're called clusters.
I like that too. They sound good. This sounds like something I will finish in one day.
This totally smells like I would expect it to smell.
It smells good though. It smells like chocolate and like a little bit of date, but mostly chocolate.
Yeah. I definitely smell that date in it. It smells like dried food.
Trying to get out of your bed.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
I like the consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it when they're chewy.
They're like not too chewy. They're like just the right level of chewiness. They're good.
They're but they're a little crunchy too.
Mm-hmm.
That is good.
It's the brown rice crisps. They make them crisps. They make them crunchy.
I want another one.
That's okay. So these are a super recommend from us, right? Or
Yeah.
okay. I was like, I'm gonna finish the whole bag right now.
These are really good, actually.
They are really good, and they're vegans. That's the goal.
I honestly think a big part of it is just the consistency that I love.
Okay. Yeah, and the coconut helps too.
Yeah.
The coconut helps with
For
consistency.
sure.
They're good.
For sure. I'm going to tell it all.
So, Joseph's Nutless clusters, chocolate flavor, are really good. They have a vanilla flavor, I think, too, or just a regular flavor.
Yeah, but always chocolate.
Chocolate's best. I mean, we all know that. So, you like them. Good. What kind of snacks do you like? I mean, obviously Joseph's Nutless clusters, but...
I really hate chewy bars.
Okay.
Which is why I was, like, really hesitant about this, because I don't like that chewiness at all. And I find them super bland.
Okay.
Like, the actual chewy bars, like, I just really don't like the consistency and the taste. These are really good.
Yeah, they taste like they're really good. I like the coconut in them. I used to hate coconut, and since becoming vegan, I've been like, coconut's not bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's in so much stuff, I have to like get used to it. That's one thing about veganism is you don't have the option to not eat vegetables and try new vegetables. You have to.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's. I'm not gonna speak for others, but for me, it's so much like so many things are an acquired taste. And so many things are like a mental battle where I'm like, ew, I don't want to eat that, but then like it's totally just me being ill.
Yeah. I mean, I still do that sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, ugh, I don't want to. That looks gross. Sounds gross. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's like my fifth story.
It's okay. There's a lot of them. I guess I will not be eating any of them tomorrow. That's okay. Not a problem.
C'est la vie.
I mean, I'm happy you like them. They're good. I like them too. I'm gonna have one more. I've only had one so far.
I'm grabbing two more. It's probably because I haven't had dinner yet.
I had a snack. I had a slice of pizza. Slice of vegan pizza, which I was very surprised. There's no, like most vegan, like Pizza Pizza and Pizza Nova, they have slices, right? But they don't have vegan slices. Mama's Pizza, which has vegan pizza, has slices, and I'm so happy.
That's really cool.
Because I love sliced pizza. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, something about the point, right? That first little bite. Yeah,
I just every time I eat it, I feel like I'm in New York, and I'm like, but I'm not. But New York.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mama's Pizza's not quite New York pizza, but still good.
Yeah.
This is hard when I'm eating. So I have a question. Just now that you've tried some vegan food and you've had vegan food and you've been on my podcast and we talk about stuff, what do you think you're gonna get for lunch tomorrow?
I'm probably gonna make my own lunch.
Okay.
'Cause,
you have food, I guess.
Yeah. I'm trying to have a salad every day.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to eat healthy too.
Yes. Although I do try to have like chicken with it or something. But when I do, I look at whether they're like what farmers they're from and all that kind of stuff. So at least that's
Do you like tofu?
I started experimenting with tofu also.
Tofu's actually really great on salads. Oh. I love it on salads.
See, my problem is I really need it to be a like particular consistency. Like I like when the edges are browned. I hate the like actual like soy taste when it's like squishy. Okay. Yeah.
One trick to tofu is freezing it completely changes the texture. So if you freeze it and then defrost it, the texture is like super different.
Freeze it, cut it up frozen and fry, or freeze it and then defrost it and
freeze it then defrost it.
Really? Why? Do you know?
I don't know why. It's something about it.
Interesting.
And then I mean, medium firm is like, firm is like super firm is like the most popular. And
you know what? That's probably what it was. I didn't even know that there was firm and not whatever.
Yeah. Always get the firm one, because that's the consistency you like. The medium ones are for like other dishes. They're not good on like salads. Salads, if you really want one, I like firm is the best. And then try freezing it and see what happens. Maybe you won't like this texture. I can't remember what it's exactly like, but it's different. And then just fry it like you would chicken. Yeah. Same thing.
I'm such a
fires in the same amount of time.
Yeah. Okay, I'll definitely try that. And I definitely want to buy it too because it's really easy to make and it's good. But
Yeah. You know what's also really good in salads? Sweet potato fried.
I was going to. I just actually ate my sweet potato like the other day. I was gonna make my salad with that, but I just kept making my lunches in the morning and I didn't have time to. But one more thing I was gonna say is I feel like my biggest problem with this stuff is that growing up, it's like, my parents, like, dinner wasn't dinner unless you had a starch, a meat, and a salad, like, always. And then, like, our first course was soup, second course was, like, that big thing.
Yeah.
Just, like, growing up, like, Polish, that's just how my parents kind of think. So I feel like a lot of the time now I'm, like, convinced that if I don't have a meat, then I won't be as full.
Okay.
And I also am a big snacker when I'm stressed or when I'm, like, nervous about anything. So then that makes it even worse. And I can't afford to eat more than, like, 3 times a day, so...
So, I mean, I come from a similar background, right?
Yes.
Like, I'm Eastern European Russian also. And I get where you're coming from. Totally. One thing that's kind of interesting is if you think about the vegetable, like, being the main part of the dish instead. So, there's actually BuzzFeed. They had a you know that show where they do, like, the 3, like, cheap, medium, high price?
Yeah.
They had a vegan episode.
Oh, cool.
And one of the hosts said, like, a great thing that one of my friends talked about, and it's like one of my favorite things that they've ever said is, I've never thought about having the vegetable as the core of the dish. So, like, they had, like, a big roasted cauliflower, and that was, like, the core of the dish. And you know, and that's true. We don't think about that because we've all been kind of raised to think that we need to have a protein source, this exclusive source of protein. And I mean, I still do that with my meals. Like, I still have tofu, or I still have, like, fake meat, or I still have whatever, and then I have, like, my side. But occasionally for lunch or stuff, I'll just have, you know, a salad, and it'll be just a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I love my foods. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm lucky because I do really, like, enjoy a lot of vegetables and fruits, but I feel like I'd have to eat more of them in order to be... It's like carbs and meat. I feel like those are the 2 things that fill me up the most, and so that's why replacing that would...
There is a bit of an adjustment that usually happens with vegans. So it's usually, like, you have to adjust to the vegan diet, and for the first little bit you'll be very hungry, or you'll eat more. It's an adjustment, but eventually you get to the point where, like, right now I had, you know, 3 meals today. I'll probably have a snack later and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't, like, get more hungry than that. And my meals were, like, not that, they were, like, whatever today.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, it's not like it's something that would last forever.
Yeah. And carbs are, like, the reason that happens is because vegetables digest quicker. But I mean, I still have carbs all the time. I eat way too much carbs, too many carbs, and that's, like, it's like whatever, and it's fine. I can eat as much carbs as I want to some extent. But I just remembered, for your salads, if you ever want vegan inspiration, there's a great restaurant called Coopford and Kim. It's, like, my favorite restaurant. I probably talked about it, like, 5 times on this podcast already. And
what's it called?
Coopford and Kim.
Where is it?
There's a couple locations. There's one right beside my work. That's why I know. I go there all the time. But if you look at their menu online, you'll just see, like, the kind of stuff they put in it, and that could give you some inspiration for salads. And they're vegan and gluten free and wheat free.
Cool. That is very cool. Yeah, I will.
Yeah. So, they're awesome, and they do like really interesting stuff. They do, like, these things called, like, sunflower balls. So they do, like, almost like falafel balls, but with sunflower inside them. And they do tofu, and they do yam or sweet potato.
The thing that I liked about Copper Branch the most is that they use such good seasoning. Because I feel like every time I've had vegan food before this, and this isn't to say that all vegan food is like this, it's probably just the experience of what I had. But it was so just bland. It, like, didn't have I can live with, like, you know, those vegetables and all those things as bases, but I need them to, like, have, like, some kind of ring to them. And I feel like that's the main reason why I love, like, spicy chicken and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then when I went to Copper Branch and they had these like just like everything was like their homemade fries or whatever, and then like their garlic aioli and everything's just so good. And it's all vegan.
I know. I actually just heard about them. I've never heard of them before.
You should go. It's very good.
I'll try it. Yeah, for sure. But that's one of the things I think that maybe not alienates, but makes like veganism kind of difficult for some people, is that they try vegan food at restaurants who don't make vegan food.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Do not do that.
Yeah.
If you're listening, if you're out there, if you've never tried vegan food before, don't go to a restaurant that serves everything for your first time.
Yeah.
Go to a vegan only restaurant, a really popular one. It'll be amazing. It'll blow your socks off.
Go to Apocalypse Now, I think it's called, or just Apocalypse on Bloor.
Yeah, good.
So good.
Coopford and Kim. Or Doomies.
But this pizza, I'm obsessed.
It's true. Pizza's amazing.
It's pizza with like I think it's called Zachos because it's like not actual nachos.
Yeah.
So good. Like, it's incredible. It's my favorite pizza.
You've heard it here from a non-vegan. And I haven't even tried that place. I've only tried like a handful of restaurants in downtown because I've only been here so long. So I'm really hoping this summer I get to try some new stuff. But so far I've just been going to Coopford and Kim every day.
Well, until you get bored of that then.
I mean, it's just it's like so healthy, and I like need to eat healthy, so it's kind of.
Is it good healthy?
It is good healthy.
Okay.
They're like really healthy.
See, I went to get
really yummy.
lunch today, and I went healthy, and okay, well, first of all, I was late to a meeting, so I just went to like Longo's next to my thing, but they have like they have like a salad bar, and like the one that I work next to is really nice. But so I got myself a salad, and then I got a hot meal with some like steamed veggies, some rice, and then some salmon. And I felt so sick afterwards. My body, I don't know. I also had a pack of chips. I think that's what did it.
But also you went to like Longo's.
Yeah, that's probably.
I don't know. I get Freshie sometimes, and it's like fine. It's super good.
See, I don't like Freshie. I started to like more once I could like make my own things, but their bowls I just wasn't a fan of. I didn't like the combination of taste.
They're not as good as Coopford and Kim. So like Coopford and Kim, I know I'm like really representing this brand right now, but like they're actually really good. Coopford and Kim is like really, it's like more exotic. They have like more different vegetables that I haven't tried before, and they have like just like it's just better.
Have
like,
you ever had okra?
Yes, I have.
Okra's so good.
I like okra.
Favorite.
I got fried okra once.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
It was in California.
Oh, great.
I don't remember, but I think they sell it in other places here in Canada, but I don't know where.
I would definitely try it.
I'm sure you can make it at home too.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. What did I write in this sentence? This sponsor call is gonna be rough. What do blue Hawaiians, pina coladas, hurricanes, and West Indian coolers have in common? Well, other than being present in Florida and a necessity when you're on vacation, they all include pineapple. Pineapple is today's fruit of the day. Pineapple is sweet, tangy, and just right for when you need to cool off. So climb a tree, shuffle into a bush, do what you gotta do, and grab some pineapple today. Thanks, Pineapple, for sponsoring today's episode. And as the final segment, I have a recipe for everybody. But before we go there, is there anything you'd like to say?
Vegan food is better than I thought.
You don't have to.
I
be
learned
nice.
cool stuff. I will try to cut back. Cross my heart.
I promise I'm not pressuring you. I'm just, you do whatever you want.
No, I'm saying that from the deep hollows of my heart.
The deep hollows of your heart. Interesting. Okay, so today's recipe comes from Oshi Glows. You can find it at oshiglows.com. It's for cheerful vegan nachos. For the cooked toppings, you can get 1 batch of all-purpose vegan cheese sauce, 1 large sweet potato peeled and chopped, 2 teaspoons of olive oil, fine sea salt, chili powder, and a batch of spicy black beans, also I guess on the recipe. For the fresh toppings, get 1 bag of tortilla chips of choice, 1 medium avocado or guacamole, 2 medium green onions, thinly sliced, 3 to 4 tablespoons of pickled jalapenos, our sponsor, 1/3 cup of chopped charred roasted red pepper, 1/4 cup of finely chopped purple cabbage, and a handful of fresh cilantro chopped, and then some salsa to taste. Begin preparing the all-purpose vegan cheese sauce by soaking 1/4 cashews in a small bowl of boiling water for at least 30 to 60 minutes. Prepare the all-purpose vegan cheese sauce. While you're making the cheese sauce, preheat the oven to 400 degrees and line a medium-rimmed baking sheet with parchment paper. Set the cheese sauce aside once prepared. I cannot speak today. Spread the chopped sweet potato onto the parchment-lined roasting pan and toss with oil. Sprinkle with a generous amount of salt and chili powder. Roast for 25 to 30 minutes until the bottoms are lightly charred. While the potatoes are roasting, prepare the spicy black beans found in my DIY burrito bowl recipe in Oshiklo's. After cooking, leave the beans in the skillet so you can reheat them just before laying onto the nachos. Gather and prep any fresh toppings you like to use. They're ready to go. Feel free to add as much or as little of each as you wish. On a medium-rimmed baking sheet or platter, if your sweet potatoes are finished roasting, feel free to set them aside. Spread the layer of chips to cover the base entirely. For the warm nachos, reheat the spicy black beans in the skillet and the all-purpose vegan cheese in your microwave or on a small pot on the stovetop. Now it's time to dress up those nacho chips. Layer the beans first, adding the cheese sauce, roasted sweet potatoes, avocado, green onion, pickled jalapenos, roasted red pepper, cabbage, cilantro, and salsa. Season with salt and serve immediately. And that's for cheerful vegan nachos and from oshiklos.com. I'd like to thank today's sponsors, quinoa, jalapeno, and pineapple, Alla, and you, the listeners, for being here with us today. If you have a question, a suggestion, you want to be a sponsor, or you want to be on an episode, send us an email at veganambitionpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.
Bye.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.